the biggest mistakes are like, I would shoot an entire haircut and like forget to hit record, and then like you have to do it again.
Blooper.
Like, yeah, and there's not even a blooper because no one knows.
So thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for having me.
I want to go ahead and welcome everybody to our first coffee talk for 2019. I'm super excited to share with you guys who I have with us. He was so kind enough to actually have us on site, so this is super exciting. We're in his salon and we got a nice tour. So I have Matt Beck with us today. He's actually a devoted educator and as well a salon owner of Salon Gratitude here in New Hope, PA.
Yes.
Oh, we're not in New Jersey anymore, that's
I know
for sure.
It feels weird to say, right?
Right, it took me when I was like in PA.
Well, earlier you said you were going through it and you were like New Hope, New Jersey. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's fine.
Did I really
We're
say
close
that?
enough.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, see, that
No,
definitely sounds like
you're just so
me.
used to saying New Jersey that it's like, it's automatic for you.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I thought was really cool when we walked in here, and one of the things that you focused a lot of your time on, is you created a platform that was called Free Salon Education. And we are in his setup of where he records, and it's really cool to kind of see everything on the wall. So you've been really busy.
Yeah, pretty busy. So we had a salon. So me and my wife have owned our salon, Salon Gratitude, for 10 years, I think. It's
Okay.
about 10 years. And so in about 5 years ago was when we kind of started putting stuff online. I was an educator for a hair company, Paul Mitchell, for 10 years, and I was traveling to salons constantly. And the thing with that is I was in my car 6 hours a weekend, driving to teach in, somebody's salon, and I'm teaching for 5 to 10 people at a time. And just kind of, my career wasn't quite what I wanted it to be at that moment. It was, I wanted to be more like on the platform, teaching at the hair shows, doing that kind of thing. And it wasn't getting there. So I just one night decided that we were going to just record a video, put it up on YouTube just for fun. My goal was always to be on a DVD, right? So like and I'll go all over the place, but when I was in hair school, I got a box of VHS tapes that were like Tony and Guy and Michael O'Rourke and Paul Mitchell. And it was all this like really inspirational stuff. And that's how I learned, like when you're in school, a lot of people are like bummed about schools not teaching them like whatever, but it's really like on yourself to go further and be hungry for learning. So that's how I learned. So I always wanted to be kind of on that platform and to be able to teach that way. And I missed the DVD era. No one hired me for that. And then the great thing is we're in the internet now, and you could do whatever you want and you don't have to have permission from anybody. So I filmed my first YouTube video, put it out, and after a week it had 100 views. And that to me now is like, well, 100 views is like not a lot, right? But then at that time I was teaching 5 people at a time, driving 6 hours to get there. So it just clicked, like this is the future of teaching, So we made it a goal to put out a video every week, and then, now 5 years later, we're talking about it, and it just seems, that's what I was saying, like when you guys were here and you're looking at the studio and the equipment and everything, it's an evolution. It started with an iPad, and no lighting and no microphones and nothing, and then, now we look at it 5 years later and we're producing content like crazy. So yeah, been busy.
You've been super busy.
Yeah.
I love it.
Get ready for some long-winded answers.
It's okay.
Right.
One thing that I want to make sure that we try and do for you is make this a VHS so that we can
please.
send it to you just for fun.
If you could, and put the
when we're
podcast on cassette tape, that would be great as well.
You got it.
Yeah.
So one way that I love to start off all of our coffee talks is, how do you take your coffee?
Okay, so I know you guys are anticipating the answer to this question. I don't like coffee, but I have to say that I got addicted to Starbucks lattes over the last year. Yes. So, and like the online ordering on the app.
Yes.
So because you can be so specific with everything.
You're the half pump.
I'm the
pump,
worst. Yeah. So like,
pump.
So my order got so complicated that the last time I went to Starbucks, the guy laughed when he handed it to me, and I knew that was like kind of like the moment where I should just like either make it myself or simplify it a little bit. So my wife actually got me an espresso maker for Christmas. So now I'm so specific. Like every day I have the same exact thing, and it's a latte, but it's with almond milk, and it's like 8 ounces, and it's a couple pumps of toffee nut syrup. Like I'm this guy, and iced.
I love it.
So that's every single day. So now I'm saving like $3,000 a year.
Because you're not buying Starbucks.
Because I'm not buying Starbucks, and I'm making it myself the way I like it. But I don't really love coffee, but I don't know. It might be a thing.
I'm a coffee lover.
Yeah. Well, I used to drink those terrible like energy drinks, right?
Oh, you were in that
I was
bag.
that guy as well. So, and just from a health standpoint, like it's not good, right? So I'm trying to find a healthier, even though I know lattes aren't like super healthy, but like I'm trying to get a little.
I wasn't going to tell you.
Right.
But it's okay.
I appreciate
you
that.
have a goal for 2019. I'm going to make sure you hit it.
But I know that the pumps, like I know how many grams of sugar, like I know everything. So we're very specific with our coffee.
Sounds good.
With his.
I'm sorry that, the coffee is not that. So he's not going to be touching this cup is basically what he's telling us. So.
No, but I do love the cup.
Thank you.
It's a very cool cup.
I do love the cup too.
Yeah.
So I know a few years ago you decided to start exploring with social media and really utilizing it to help thrive your media company. Can you tell us a little bit of why you decided to start that and what that journey has turned into today?
So I think I'll evolve, like I'll go a little bit further with my answer to the beginning, right? So after putting out the first video, there was, and this is what I want people to understand. Like, I think people go into things and they're like, I need this to happen, or this is my goal. Like, I don't go into anything really with a big goal in mind. Mm-hmm. It might be like a short term, like I want, like right now I'm like, I want 300,000 people to follow on Instagram. Like maybe that's like my thing or whatever. But like, there's nothing like crazy long term, especially at the beginning. I didn't even know what the company was going to be. Right. So when you think about people going into social media, and when I did, like 5 years ago, there wasn't a lot of people doing hair on YouTube. Not a ton. There were some people, but so it gained momentum a little bit quicker than I think it would today. But I think people get held back by having expectation going into it. I think you should do something. Like the reason I do it every day is because I really love it. Like I think I get really stressed out, and I'm like trying to learn more about myself, but like I get really stressed out when I'm not doing it. So like, and when I don't feel like, I think from a young age really loved attention for putting stuff out, right? So I played music. Like it goes back as far as like, I would dance like Michael Jackson, like when I was like 11.
Oh, we need a clip of that coming in.
That will never happen. Now. That's a family thing. It stays in the vault. But like, so I did that when I was younger. I liked that kind of attention. I like performing in front of people or whatever it was, right? And then got into music, played music for a while. So hair, when I got into hair, I got obsessed with the platform of it, like teaching and educating, because that was performing to me. So like, I think that's why I'm so into it, and like I don't have a problem producing anything because I love doing it. I wouldn't want to not do it. So like I think that's, I don't even remember the question, but I think when you go in,
you're going there. You're there, yeah.
But when you're on social media, like it's people like I think they go in with the wrong expectation of what it's going to be. They go in because they want followers or they want this. Like obviously, ultimately, that's what I want. But even if nobody watches, like I would make these videos anyways because I just really love it. And I wouldn't have thought twice if I only had 1,000 people following or having 500,000. Like that doesn't really matter that much, even though I love.
It sounds like it's more of a passion.
Yeah, the actual thing of creating and having people like it is like what drives me, I think. So like it was education. So like people started to like that. They like my haircutting education. So like that's what I put out there, So my advice to people would be do what you love doing, and then the people come. Don't do it because you want the people to come.
I get that.
You know?
I get that. That's some really good advice right there.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So I know that Free Salon Education provides the video tutorials that you were describing to me before a little bit to different stylists. What made you focus specifically just on videos though? Because there's so many other things that are available through social media. Why specifically a video?
So I think everybody's good at what they're good at, right? So like before I did hair, one of my jobs was I was on the radio. And when I was on the radio, I really fell in love with that job. I was right out of my senior year of high school into a year of like being graduated. The reason I didn't stay in radio is because I've also had this obsession my whole life with being able to have money, right? Like I didn't grow up in a scenario where, I grew up in a scenario where money was a focus, but it was never really there, right? So like it was a big talk around everyone that I kind of grew up around. Like when we had money, it was like, super happy situation. And when we didn't, it was kind of a depressing situation, right? So for me, I think I automatically knew in my life I wanted that to be different. So like I want to do what I love, but I also want to make sure that I'm making money doing it at the same time. Because I was in radio, I did a lot of audio editing. So I learned that. And when you switch, like any of you guys out there that edit video or audio or whatever, doing a podcast, like it's very similar. You're cutting, splicing, pulling together, like making things a little tighter. So like that was something I learned for a year and a half, and I loved it, and I was doing it every day. So when I went into like video, I wanted to be on a DVD. I knew how to audio edit. So when I pulled up video editing software, it just kind of clicked, right? So then I started really making videos, and that's what attracted people. And like I said, I didn't do it because social media was going to get me famous or whatever. I did it because I loved doing it, and I thought the outcome might be that people would follow it, right? But all I really wanted to do was make videos for hairdressers. And the first video I made, I put it out on YouTube, but it wasn't Free Salon Education, it was Gratitude Education, and I put it on DVD and then tried to sell it for $10, right? No one bought it. So then that's where, actually one person bought it, and I'd like to know who they are because I don't remember, but somebody owns this DVD. And, and so that's kind of the thing. Like I wasn't making it because of social media, and video to me is like I think a lot of people would be like, oh, well, I knew a video was like this big thing. I didn't know. I just didn't stop doing it. And now video is everything. And thankfully, 5 years ago, I started doing it. And now, it's so much more popular to make video content and needed than anything else. So, and I'm not good at taking pictures. It takes a lot of editing to make my pictures look good.
I can help you with that. I have, certain angles for that.
Okay, good.
I got you for that. I completely agree with you that I think that video is a great content, and I love the fact that you have created a platform for stylists to be able to do that. I personally use YouTube for everything when it comes to if I want a smoky eye or how do I curl my hair, because this is not easy for me. It's not my thing. Right. That's your thing. So now maybe I might
Smoky eyes aren't my thing.
Smoky eyes are not your thing?
No, I have no idea. No idea how to make a smoky eye.
But you're absolutely right. One of the first things, even if it's, figuring out how to put something together, the first thing we always do is go what? Right to YouTube, pull up a video, and try to figure it out. Yeah. So I love that. I absolutely love that. So you currently did a lesson with Legends Chat with one of your friends, Jason Everett, which I actually had the opportunity of meeting, and he did a coffee talk with us as well. And you guys talked a little bit about your business model, which is about giving away access to stylists for free education, which is kind of backwards from what the industry is kind of doing right now. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
So that's a question I get asked all the time because I don't think people understand. Like, if you like making money, like, why give everything away? I learned over 10 years educating with Paul Mitchell this model. right? So I went to teach the salons. They got it for free. They did buy products, but they got the education for free. I went in there and then Paul Mitchell paid me to be there, right? So when I launched this, after the DVD flop, like after I made the first DVD and no one bought it, right? Except for one person. After that happened, I realized that going one by one, trying to impress a stylist and get them to buy something, when first off, the average stylist in the United States makes $25,000 a year, right? Which is not a lot of money. And my goal would always be to elevate them to make more than that, right? Mm-hmm. But the reality is they make $25,000 a year. Why we are pushing education, especially online, to get people to pay their little bit of money that they have extra, right, to invest in their career, when you have huge beauty companies out there that are looking for exposure. They want to reach brands, or they want to reach consumers or customers, and but people are going right towards the hairdresser trying to get them to pay. My thing is, I go at the brands. I have conversation with brands. They need content. I create it, and I'm able to create content with their brand like I used to do on the road, and they get exposure, and the stylist gets it for free, right? So the biggest thing for me is being able to provide a free network, and then at the same time have great sponsors that still support it, right? Because in the end, you need to have some kind of income. And the brands have more money than anybody, right? So so that's kind of always been my angle. And we're very specific with the brands that we bring in, and just making sure that they're not controlling the environment, because I want to be able to do whatever education I feel is important, which I think brands should look up to, because when you know what people react to on social media, you don't want to influence that in either way. Like, you want me to make what I think I should make and use your product as the highlight in the video, right?
Got that.
So that was our conversation. And from what I remember, that was our conversation, just really helping people understand why free, you know?
So I know that a lot of the content you guys do in here, and now you said that you had started from an iPad.
Yeah.
Right? So now that's not the case.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, what were some of the mistakes that you made, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing, like, even in like hair cutting and everything else, you learn from your mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. So we started with an iPad, filmed that first video. There was terrible audio. So we decided, you know what? I can't just use an iPad. I got to get a microphone that I can plug into my computer so I can do a voiceover, right? And then I also knew that the first video that I shot was super long. So I was like, I got to cut this thing up to make it shorter. Because like hairdressers, like, and people in general, like, time is so important, right? Mm-hmm. So like, there's no reason for them to watch me comb 14 times before I cut, right? They see me comb a couple times and I transition it and I cut all that stuff out. It condenses the video down. So like, the mistakes that you make are like, you know, to me, like, typical. Like, I love the mistakes that were made, because then that's, like I said before, like to you guys earlier, I shot this video and I was like, oh, well, it could have been better if I would have got this. So then I would buy this thing, right? And it goes out to like the sponsors and the hairdressers that bought scissors and all that stuff. Like, every time they bought something, like, I bought equipment, you know, and it just grew this whole thing. So the biggest mistakes are like, you know, I would shoot an entire haircut and like forget to hit record, you know, and then like you have to do it again.
Blooper.
Like, yeah, and there's not even a blooper because no one knows. Yeah, like so like those are the things that happen, and like, or you're shooting something, you're talking, and like you forget to hit record on the audio, you know, like that stuff happens all the time, and it's still happening to this day. That's why there's like multiple things in this room. Like, that monitor hooks up to my camera, so I can actually see what's coming out of my camera on that big TV over there, and I can see that the record button is going, and like everything in this room is specifically made to like cater to my mistakes that have happened. So, so yeah, like you make a lot of mistakes. And what I think a lot of people do is they try to put out perfect stuff. And like, I don't care about that. Like I want the content has to be good. Like you have to be able to learn from it. But like if I screw something up, it's not that big of a deal. Like, or I don't edit things to be perfect. Like I edit them to get the point across and then to move on to the next one. Because a lot of people will dwell and they'll spend so much time, like they'll spend weeks editing a piece and then they'll put it out. And then they'll spend weeks editing another piece and they'll put it out. But in between that time, people forget who the heck you are. You know what I mean? Like, what I say in a lot of my classes, like, who in here remembers the last thing they saw on Facebook?
I don't know.
No one does, right? Because there's so much. Yeah. Like, we're consumed with so much stuff. So, like, how would you remember? So, like, no one remembers my last video. And then, like, on Instagram, I'm reposting videos that I posted 3 months ago all the time. And people think it's new, you know, like, or they've never seen it before. They just started following and now they're consuming it again. Like people get so caught up on either what other people think or of what they did or whatever. But like, I just don't have that in me really. Like I just love putting stuff out there. So you gotta like, even if you make mistakes, you gotta keep pushing forward, keep putting stuff out there if you want to grow online and be remembered.
Yeah, so
right.
They have to anticipate that they're going to make some mistakes.
Yeah.
Period.
For sure. Yeah. Like mistakes is the best, you know?
Awesome. All right. So we established that they're going to definitely make some mistakes. So how have you seen videos over time change?
Well, so I think people are just getting, I hope they are. I don't really think they are. So here's my answer to that. I don't
Sounds
think
like there's two answers to
I don't
this.
think they are changing.
Okay.
I think they need to change. You see a lot of people putting content on different platforms that doesn't fit on that platform, right?
Okay.
So that's kind of my first thing. So from a video standpoint, I don't think that people need to change the platform. Another answer to this question is salons aren't really using video the way they should or really at all. And so to put a little bit of value out for salon owners or stylists out there, because it's not just people that want to be famous on the internet that are watching. Like most people just want to make money in the salon, right?
Yeah.
So for me, being able to showcase your business through video is going to be number one. Like people don't Google salons as much anymore. People like Google might be the number one other way, but people look on your Instagram. They like people call our salon. They're like, "What's your Instagram?" Like that's the only thing they want to know, right? They don't go on our website. They don't go like they might, but like through other things, right? So it's really important that salons, salon owners, stylists focus on video. And the great thing about video for me is we're a visual industry where people take photos, but like photos only show so much. Like a video can showcase exactly what that style looks like and how it moves and like your customer smiling and laughing. Like, so to me, I think if you film, even with your iPhone, a little bit of video of you doing the process, but do it vertically, right? Horizontally. Horizontally, okay. Not vertically. Vertically, you can film for other things. Like you have to do multiple things, and we'll talk about that too. But film it horizontally so you can create a cool video with it. Showcase some of the process, but not to detail it like education. Detail it like the experience, right? Yep. The shampoo, like all this stuff. You can set slow-mo mode on your
I love
iPhone.
That one when
yeah,
you
like
see the hair
with
moving.
the hair, or even shampooing somebody, or cutting once, like things that like might catch a consumer's eye. And then at the very end, when they're in the ring light, instead of snapping a photo, do a little video shot of them, like, you know, like moving the hair or whatever. So you have the whole process and then you have the end. And then maybe even snap a clip for like the final picture and put that at the end of the video. Use it as your like thumbnail for it, but like create the experience, right? People want to consume more. They want an experience with whatever they're seeing. Instagram was huge with photo at first because that's all we did.
Yep.
They didn't even have video options. Like, so people grew Instagrams with photos. I don't post barely any photos on my Instagram, and I haven't for like the last 2 years. I've been posting when it was 15-second video. I cut a whole haircut into 15 seconds. Then it went to 1 minute, which was the best day ever. And I made these 1 minute haircutting videos. And from that day, I had 5,000 followers 2 years ago. I have 250,000 now. I'm gaining 50,000 a month just because I post video 3 times a day, you know, and it's just consistent. So, but my other thing would be for salons, because a lot of salons out there don't want to be famous, is don't put things out there for stylists. Like, people have it so backwards. I put things out there for stylists because I want to be famous for stylists. Like, I want to educate stylists. Most people want to be famous in their town because they want customers. So if you have 10,000 people following you and 9,000 of them don't live in your area, and you're putting out a post and only 10% of the people that follow you even see the post, so now you've got like 5 people from your town. That's like the worst math ever.
I'm like trying to follow in my head.
No,
I'm like,
that's completely, this is another thing that I've realized that I do. I make up math, but it's like true though, right? So like only so many people on your Instagram are actually going to see it because Instagram's not showing it to everybody. And so now you've got a bunch of people that don't live here mixed in with people that do live here, and only some of them of your whole see the post. And so that's only going to be a few of the people that actually live there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So
I got the math, just so you know.
Okay, cool.
It's right up here.
So don't repeat it, or just don't say that I said it. But that's the thing. Like, it's people need to really hone in on what they want their audience to be, right? So like for me, I'm a hairdresser. I'm trying to reach hairdressers, but most salons should focus in their town to create that content.
Exactly. Well, I have personally seen myself, because like I was saying earlier, I don't really know how to do my hair. I'll do, if it's got a curling wand, works for me, right? And I don't even use a real blow dryer. I use the kind that blows out of the thing.
Okay.
I'm like I just can't do it.
Yeah.
It's not my thing, right? But I do see social media has become so involved in the hair industry, even in the spa industry as well. So for anybody who's looking to begin with videos, right? Maybe me, even with my one little curl blow dryer.
Somebody needs to know it.
Someone needs to know how to use it, right? What can they use as far as equipment? What could they invest in? Where should they start?
So it depends on what you have to invest, right? So like, of course, so I used to say all you need is an iPad. That's not really true, right? Like, it is to get started, you could just use an iPad. But when I did that was 5 years ago. The quality of what people put out is definitely better now. But so is phones. So like, you can use a phone, but you need to have a good microphone. And that's like the key thing. And you could get a microphone that you can attach to your shirt to record your audio, but you have to have good audio, right? Because a video with the sound of the background and like just echoey and all of that, no one will watch it. No one will consume it. So like, make sure that if you're going to use a phone, get the adapter, plug in a microphone. Do some research. Like, people are always like it blows my mind what people won't just go do, right? They're like waiting to hear it, and if they don't ever hear it, then they just won't know it, right? They don't research. Like, everything on the planet that you want to know how to do, you can Google. Like, the fact that people even show up to my class to learn about social media blows my mind, because you can learn everything that I learned the same way I learned it on the internet, right? Just keep watching, keep taking it in. Most people don't have the time for that, right? So with that being said, an iPhone and a microphone can start, especially in the salon. And then as you evolve from there, you buy things that you feel you need to make your stuff better. And like, that's where you'll start to do research, because I think a lot of people don't know where to start. And for me, start with your iPhone and work your way up. And then that way, you know what you need to buy, right? And then find people on the internet. Like, I started following this guy Frono's Photo is a YouTuber from Philadelphia. He's a photography guy. He's not a hair guy, which is why I started following him, because I can do hair. I can't do photography. You've got hairdressers out there teaching photography now, like follow people that are really good at that thing that you want to be good at or better at, and then start mimicking them,
I actually would have never thought of that.
Okay.
To follow someone for
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting way of looking at it.
It's like
and kind of educating yourself without even thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, like the people, you can't see it up there, but I constantly have YouTube on while I'm sitting at my desk doing everything, because I'm just listening to photographers and videographers and, motivational people or whatever. I'm listening to them constantly because you gain something from listening to people. So like audiobooks, like those kind of things. Like I don't have time, or actually I have time. I don't want to make time to read a book ever. Like it's very difficult for me to sit down, and as soon as I start reading, I fall asleep. It's like every time. So what I do, I like audiobooks are the best, and you can speed them up 2 times faster. So like you can listen to them in rapid speed to consume faster content, which is basically the world now, right?
Yep.
Like we don't want to listen to someone talk, especially in New Jersey or Philadelphia, this slow, right? You're like, come on, get to the point. So that's the world of the internet. Like you have a very little window, no matter what equipment you have, to get your point across. A lot of people take too much time, right? Live video, it's like, ready? Okay, we're going live. And then they're like, and like you're just sitting there, and I see it with all the media companies in hair, which I don't understand. It's like your job is to make media, right? To be entertaining. And like they're going live on a video to showcase somebody doing hair, and it takes 3 minutes to get to the hair part, right? When all people want to see is hands and hair. So like, why spend that much time doing it? So you got to really, like, my recommendation, even if you're trying to sell something in the salon, have your phone on the hands and hair at the very last moment, show this little trick that you're doing, then back the camera out, talk about the product and show yourself. But like, don't show yourself first and show the product, because people don't want to be sold something until they like what you did.
Yeah, see
right?
value in that.
Yeah. So you got to bring them into that sale instead of the other way around.
So how do you come up with content for your videos?
So
what's that process like?
I look at, so it's kind of evolved a little bit. Like I definitely know now like what attracts people, just from like what haircuts people want to see, what videos get the most views. So like for instance, the last couple of videos I did were a pixie cut, the 90-degree haircut from beauty school, the 180-degree haircut, those kind of cuts, because my audience starts in school, right? Or they want a refresh of like things that they learned in school. So I do those kind of things for them. Pixie cuts are big. People get freaked out by short hair. I think about the same way with equipment, like challenges that I have. So like right now I'm like, well, maybe I can make a 10 video series on cutting hair that would make somebody better at it. Like how to hold your scissor, how to hold your comb. Like there's so many things. So I just kind of sit around, or even like, I don't normally go to the gym, but like I've been going to the gym. So like that moment, like while I'm there, I'm thinking of just like, well, what can I film? You know, yeah. I've made 754 videos in 5 years, like that's a lot. And so now I'm even taking like the ones I made on the iPad and I'm redoing them with the equipment and like making them better, so, and people have never even seen that 754th video. Like people have, but like not my current audience, right? Like those are like,
those are all the way at the very, very end.
All the way at, yeah.
Archives somewhere.
Yeah, you'd have to go way, way back, But yeah, so.
That's awesome.
I guess that's.
So let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about social media and online brand presence as a whole.
Yeah.
So how does marketing on social media different from other mediums?
Well, so I never really did marketing outside of social media, right? But I mean, for the salon, we did a little bit, but we did a lot of word of mouth. I never really, I don't know if it's just my generation or what it is, but like I didn't really believe in when magazines would approach us to like do some kind of article in a local paper or whatever. Like that didn't really seem like the image that I was trying to portray, you know? So we did a lot of word of mouth. So my thing is social media is free, right? And a lot of people do all these different seminars for you to buy ads and stuff on Facebook. As a local salon, you should be killing your social media just by creating, not by paying anything, right? Okay. So invest your money in a camera or in an iPad or whatever it is and a microphone. Don't invest in ads right away. Unless you live in a city, then I think, yes, go ahead and do it. But like, I have a guy, Thad, who you guys know. Thad works in our barbershop. He decided this year he was going to really amp up his Instagram game, which I love. I love when people get really passionate about something, right? So Thad has been posting 3 pictures a day. 2 of them are his work, and then 1 of them is some kind of inspirational. He loves rock climbing and stuff, so he's been posting that. Cool. Well, so in my seminars, I always talk about when you hashtag things, like people put out posts, and this kind of goes back to the famous spectrum or the local spectrum, right? Mm-hmm. People put out their hair picture and they're like hashtag balayage and hashtag American Salon, hashtag speak Millennium. Like they do all this stuff, right? Which is fine if you're trying to reach those people, right? Mm-hmm. Most people, like a hashtag for me is not so much a searchable term. It's something that takes like who you are as a person, what you like, and it shoves it in front of your face, right? Mm-hmm. So your feed that, like the organic feed that you have on Instagram, all those pictures, that defines you as a person, not by like, it's because Instagram watches everything you click on and look at and how much you consume of it. And then they take those hashtags all in a whole and they find images and videos that contain that. And then they put it in front of you. So as a salon, like what do you want to attract? Balayage? Probably not. That's people all over the place. Mm-hmm. But your local New Hope, like where we are, or hashtag the county that you're in, Thad, to go back to him, was hashtagging this New Hope Life or whatever it was. And literally the guy, and he's only been doing it for 2 weeks, the guy that runs that page came in here, took a picture of him at the chair, did an article about him, and put it out to New Hope people, right?
That's
like
awesome.
That's marketing locally.
That is awesome.
People get too wrapped up in what the big world and not focused enough on the small town. Like small town, I will destroy any salon in this town from a marketing standpoint because I put out more content than them. That's it. Like if they start putting out more content than me, it's more interesting, then they'll win. But like I'm watching that, and it's not an ad that I pay for. Like people pay and want to get like the shampoo sale or like. So here's the other thing. People post on the internet when they're desperate for something, right? So somebody's got a cancellation or somebody has a sale or they want this, they want that. They never post just to post the stuff they love, right? So like it goes back to the very beginning. I love doing what I do, so I post it no matter what. I'm not asking for anything from that post. And in return, people follow it because they like seeing my passion behind it and all of that. Salons, they're posting because something happened, so they're trying to get quick return, and that's not how it works. You got to build that momentum so that when you do post something that you need or there is something, you have more engagement, right? If people look at their Facebook and they're like, oh, man, I get nothing. Like, even if I have 1,000 followers, I get 3 people to like the photo. The reason you get nothing is because you never post, you never get engagement. So because you only get 3 likes a post, Facebook doesn't show it to anybody. Because they're like, this person's boring, right? And that's like the reality. Like these social networks, they're judging you as much as anything else on engagement. and they're not going to put you out there if you're going to make their platform boring.
Got it.
Right? So you have to make sure that whatever you're putting out there actually brings something to the person on the other side. And if it brings something to the other side, it sparks their attention, they like it, they comment on it. Now you've got engagement. Now Facebook's like, or Instagram is like, oh, this person, people like him, so I'm going to show more of his stuff, right?
That's awesome. I actually love the local hashtag idea. I would have never thought of that.
Yeah.
Personally, and it was so funny because as we were driving here, I was showing everybody what I want my future Instagram page to look like, my whole feel.
Yeah.
So I think, and this all stemmed because I knew that we were going to be having this conversation, and now I'm researching and seeing, and you are right, there's so many things available, but I would have never thought of a local hashtag.
Let me
for
ask you
Salon.
this. What do you want your Instagram to look like?
Oh, sophisticated and elegant.
Right.
Black and white.
Everybody wants this, right? So this is the other thing. How many people have you actually followed because you look at their entire page and you like the aesthetic of it?
A lot.
Okay. So you're that person. That's fine. I'm the coffee guy.
It's just right.
Right.
Okay, fair. Good.
No, I get
Cool.
it. No, it's
We
fine.
both get a thing here.
Everybody has a thing. But like, so here's the thing. People see your picture one at a time, right? And very rarely do they go over to your page, maybe just to follow you, but then from that point on, they don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to go over to be like, oh, look at all those black and white pictures, right? They see it and they're like, oh, look at all these black and white pictures. That's cool. I'm going to follow you.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that you have an engaging person that's starting to follow you. So like every individual square that you post on Instagram has to have its own life to it, right? So like, I forget, I think it was, so Thad, yesterday he was like, what I'm doing, because I guess he wants, his goal was, and I'm going to talk to him about this later, his goal was he wanted to get customers in his chair, right? But what he's doing is he's hashtagging, or he's going and finding people that have hashtag hair in their bio, because you can search that, right? People that have hashtag hair in their bio, and he's following them, so then they'll follow him back. Now, in theory, and this is something I learned actually at the Millennium Experience 4 or 5 years ago, a speaker was saying, what you should do is go to a picture that kind of resembles, like we sell YS Park combs, right, on our site. Go to some picture of YS Park combs, and everybody that likes that picture, follow them. And then maybe they'll follow you back. They like YS Park combs, and now you may be able to get a customer from that. In theory, that sounds like a good idea, right? Mm-hmm. But if you force someone to follow you just by like following them, you're not getting a true like relationship with that person. Like people are so into the numbers and all of that of social media, but really like it's all about the engagement. Like I don't care if somebody else has more followers than me, if I'm selling more or I have better engagement than them. Like that doesn't matter to me. So like you have to be, your audience should be very specific to what you do. And it shouldn't be forced. You shouldn't try to grow too fast, one at a time, and just kind of get through it.
So let me ask you this. For a lot of the business owners out there, or even the stylists who don't have a large budget to put towards social media, right? What would you recommend that they can utilize to engage in their posts or essentially have limited resources? What can they do?
So here's what I would say, because first I would recommend no budget. Do not pay for ads on social media. What you should do is instead focus your time on creating, right? So create some content, maybe a few different types of content. So maybe a picture of hair, a video of the process like we talked about, maybe a salon tour video, like something real quick. And don't do a whole salon tour. Like do like a room, right? Or a chair, or like people don't want to watch that much stuff. So keep the videos pretty short and to the point. And that would be kind of like my first thing. And then judge that content as you put it out to what kind of engagement you get on it. And then when you find out over the next month of doing that, posting maybe 3 times a day, something, then when you find out what gets the most engagement, then put your ad money into that. Start with $5. $5, just target your local area. Like you can take on Facebook, circle your town, and just say, I want $5 for everybody to see this in my town, right? So only the people in that circle see your content. But there's no sense in paying $5 if you don't get engagement on it, right?
Got it.
So make sure, assess your content first. Then when I know something really hits well, like most people would pay for the thing that didn't have much engagement, and then they would just not pay for the thing that got the most. Well, you should all in on, it's kind of like in the salon giving all of the walk-ins to the non-busy stylist. Like there's a reason why that stylist isn't busy. So number one, a walk-in should go to your top person that's going to keep it, and then work your way down the line. And then that person that has the least retention should be the last person to get the walk-in, right? So like same thing with content. Make sure you find out which one gets the highest engagement, it's your best piece, and then run your ad on that, right?
Awesome. Yeah. So one of the things that I like with that take back is that I really don't need much but time, right? So what different apps or applications can I be utilizing to kind of build this form for myself?
Yeah, so I think so there's a couple apps that I only use like 2 or 3 apps, right?
I need all of them.
Okay, so first one is just straight up easy for everybody. I use Instagram to also edit for other things, right? So you know how like if you didn't want to download another photo editing app, what I'll do is I'll edit the photo using the settings that I like, and then I'll save it to a draft, and then it saves it to my camera roll, and I can use it on Facebook, or I can use it, like I can post it wherever I want, just because Instagram has really good editing features, right? But above and beyond that, after I got tired of saving the draft and all of that, I got Lightroom, which is an Adobe product. I think it may be a monthly charge, but it may not as well. It's free to download, so you can try it. It's called Lightroom. It's actually an editing software that your subscription gets you onto the computer as well. Oh, okay. So like everything I do on my phone, I can pull up on my computer and I can edit it there. And then I can also edit on my phone. And whatever photos I save go right into my phone as well if I do it on my computer. So a lot for me is workflow, like what makes my job quicker, because getting content out is number one priority. And if something takes you a lot of steps, then you won't produce, right? So to go from producing one video a week 5 years ago to producing probably about 15 pieces of content to 20 pieces of content every day now is just all by simplifying the process. So that's why I only use a few apps. Lightroom for photo editing. Then I use WordSwag for...
WordSwag.
Yeah. You guys have WordSwag?
Oh,
I feel
sounds
like
cool.
When I say WordSwag, I feel like people probably look at me like that is such an old app, because it is, but like a lot of people don't know about it. So
I didn't know about it.
WordSwag is like how it's a good way to write on top of a photo.
Okay.
So all different fonts and different things. You can put your logo on photos. You can edit the look of your photo too in it, but it doesn't have as many features as like Lightroom does. So WordSwag. So I use Lightroom, and maybe I'll edit the photo on Lightroom, save it to my phone, go into WordSwag, write on the photo if I want to put like a quote or logo or whatever on it, and then I'll put it up onto Instagram. And sometimes I'll edit that whole package a little bit more on Instagram, just depending on what the photo is. If it's a photo of me, then yes, there's a lot of editing going into it to make sure. I always think like, if I ever show up at like a hair show or something, like people are gonna be like, they don't even recognize me because of like all the amount of like tricks that I do in editing. So yeah, it's like, those are definitely the two major ones. And And everybody wants a video editing app, and I've tried a lot of them. I think you need to do it on your computer. Like, I just don't feel, Jason Everett did tell me one, but I'm just so married to my computer, I don't use it. But people do like it, called Quick, Q-U-I-K.
I know that one. It's the blue icon.
Yeah.
And it's like a circle.
Yeah.
Yep, I use that one.
So a lot of people use that. So if you're looking for a video, like something that'll produce something for you, that's a good one. But I think those are like my main. Google Drive, I use all the time. There's another one, Meevo. I use that all the time.
Yes.
Not an app. I know.
Not an app, but I knew where you were going with that.
Yes, home screen.
You made it a home screen.
Yeah. That's about it. That's it. And then all the social media stuff. So very basic. Like most of the designing that I do on my computer because I just feel I had the time. I dedicated the time. I chose to make my time learning Photoshop, and I use Final Cut Pro to edit video. I use Adobe Audition to edit my podcast. These are all like professional tools, but I feel that they're pretty simple to use. Like, I think if you wanted to learn it, like if you really are passionate about it, you could learn it on YouTube. Like just look it up, Yeah. But like if you have no desire to learn it, but you still want to make content, then using Lightroom on your phone or Instagram, and then also using Quick, things like that, you can really produce some pretty cool stuff.
That's awesome. So one of the things that we actually got the pleasure of, or that I did myself prior to coming out and meeting you, and I know that you were at TME, so I got to see you walk around a little bit, but I didn't actually get to talk to you.
I disappear.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do.
You were at the party for a second, then I turn around and I'm like, where is he?
So this is what I want to say, because a lot of people are like, I don't have time to do things like whatever. I'm at TME, and the last 2 years I've been there, I do my thing, and I do come to the party. I say hello as much as I can because you want relationships with people. But at the same time, I go right back to my room, and my favorite room to work in is the TME room because you guys always give me a great room. But like, it's like working in like the greatest space ever. But I did a live podcast from my room, like, and I'm by myself. Like I don't have a crew setting things up. Like I get there. I set my microphone up, my laptop. I start creating videos. I put out 6 educational videos that weekend while I was at TME teaching because I had so much. That's what I chose to do with my time, right? So I think where people say I don't have time, it's you don't have time because that's not what you want to dedicate your time to. Mm-hmm. Like everybody has the same amount of time. It's just what are you deciding to do with it? And my way isn't right or wrong, it's just my way. But people can't complain about not having enough time if it's something that you really want, then you have time, So like salon owners out there, salon ownership is like, it's a tough job, and you're catering to, especially if you're a bigger salon, you're catering to a lot of personalities. So to do it, like to go home after a day of being in the salon, maybe even doing hair behind the chair, and then to start editing video, you got to really love it, But if that's what you want to do, then do it. If you don't want to do it, find somebody that will edit for you. Because there are people that will do it for you, and that's not that hard to find.
So for all the time and effort that you put into this, right? One of the things that you're saying is you really do have to put in the time. What do you do when you look at your YouTube page and you see in the comments below that there might be some, again, not everybody's going to love everything, right?
No.
So how do you handle those types of comments?
So there's been an evolution of that, the handling of that. Like it started out, you get very like upset a little bit about it, or like you want to comment back. I used to like, as soon as a negative comment would come on YouTube, I would just ban them from the page. Because on YouTube, you can. YouTube's like a weird platform because it's the only negative platform. Like, you can dislike a video, right? Which doesn't happen on anything else. Like, Facebook, you can put like an angry face or whatever, but like not a thumbs down, right? So on YouTube, like, it really still is a goal, like to not have very many thumbs down on my video. But I do realize that sometimes I'll put out a video and before it's even out, like I'll put like set a video to premiere in a couple days and somebody will thumbs down it, you know, like before it even comes out. So like I've just come to realize that you can't please everybody. And if you are, you're not doing it right. Right. So like if you're trying to put out something that fits everyone, then I don't think you'll reach as many. You won't build a core audience. Like, so that's something that I've kind of struggled with too. Like I did want to please everybody and I tried to be safe with the videos, but like anymore, I don't ban them from the page anymore. Like I actually really love sometimes when negative comments come because when you have a community, like they back you up. So like it's kind of fun to watch. Like they'll be like, "Oh, this haircut sucks" or whatever, and then people are just like, "No, it does." Like they just get
They're
right.
coming to your
yeah,
defense.
they come to your defense, which in turn is engagement, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times deleting the negative comment leads to less engagement. So it really is kind of not good. So if it's completely out of line, I just delete it and I move on, and I don't let it bother me anymore. Like me and my wife might laugh about it just because it's like sometimes it'll come through and it's like you're in the middle of the day and you get a notification. It's like you're ugly or like, you know, like you never know what it's going to be. And people are really rough sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wish I could pull one up and just read to you one of the crazy ones, but like it's, you can't let it bother you. And I think that holds a lot of people back. And if you really want to create something, that's just going to be a part of it. It's just part of the whole thing.
Part of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's sum it all up. Right, we've spent some good time together,
Yeah.
and I appreciate you taking the time to answer all of our questions.
Yeah, for sure.
What would you say are the 3 most important takebacks from today for anybody watching, stylists, owners, people about to start opening up maybe their second location, or they're just about to open up or just onboarded with Meevo?
Okay.
Right? What would be those 3 takeaways?
So 3 takeaways would be moving into the future of salons. I think you have to be present on social media. Mm-hmm. So the way that you're going to do that is, I think, communicating through video. So anybody that's watching this, you're already consuming something through video. So that's the first thing. Your customers are going to be the same, but you have to biggest thing is you have to bring value to the other person. It can't be for you. It can't be all about you. Like people make content, it's about them, but at the same time, it's bringing something to the other person. Whether that person, it's about them, but they're funny and like whatever. Like that doesn't mean don't make a video about your ego or like whatever. Like that's not, like everybody has their thing. My thing happens to be educational videos. But I think everybody has a way of communicating or bringing value to somebody. So just figure out what that is. Figure out what your salon does the best, or you as a person, what you love to do, and start creating with it, even if it's not hair, you know, like, because people, there's a type of viewer for everybody, and you can always, when you build a relationship with your community online, it turns into something, right? Ours turned into a business for free salon education. Salon Gratitude, you know, we're building one-on-ones with our customers in the chair, but at the same time, we're also trying to build that online as well by sharing stories and, you know, photos and videos and all of that. So I think the biggest thing to take away is you have to start creating. Like it is the new business card. Like I forget to order business cards all the time because I hate business cards. Like I think they're stupid, like for real. People give me a business card, I just get rid of it. Like who wants to keep a bunch of pieces of cardboard, right?
Agreed.
I right away will be like, what's your email? Like, let me email you right now. Let me text you. But like, there's so many better ways to communicate now that like business cards, people walking in to look at your salon to see if they like it. marketing in your local paper, like all of that stuff is gone nowadays. So start create, right? And putting yourself out there and building relationships with your customers online, and then you'll see a big return on that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us today.
You're very
For our
welcome.
first coffee talk
I
in
know.
2019. So excited. And I just want to thank all of you guys for joining. We look forward to seeing you guys next month.
For sure. Thank you guys
Yay.
for watching.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.